now. Live, this is 8 News Now. Good day.
6 o'clock Tuesday morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on Good Day. I'm John Langler.
And I'm Nia Wong. Kirsten Joyce has the day off and for the rest of the week. Firefighters are making major progress fighting a massive wildfire in Northern California.
Fire crews are worried, though, the weather could fan flames in these deadly fires in the coming days. Scott McLean is live in Redding, California, scene of the most dangerous and worst of these wildfires. He has the latest on the firefight and the damage that's already been seen as the Carr fire continues to grow.
The Carr fire has now grown to roughly 7 times the size of Manhattan, but it is less than 1/4 contained. The good news is that for people who live in densely populated areas in and around Redding, where we are, the threat is pretty low at this point, at least for now, given where the fire is moving off to the west and to the north as well. But check out the damage that it's done already to this neighborhood. This is 2 homes, and as you walk through here, it's hard to even tell what we're looking at or what this used to be, some of these items. Now, this is just 1 home, and there are 800 plus that are just like it, meaning completely destroyed. And even now, there are more than 4,000 structures that are still under threat.
This fire is scary to us. This is something we haven't seen before in the city.
The monstrous Carr fire continues to leave a path of destruction in California's Shasta County. It's one of more than a dozen fires burning across the state right now, but this one is so large and the temperatures are so hot that it's creating its own weather system and can be seen from space.
It looked like an atomic bomb went off. After the fact, we got a few pictures from friends, but it was a firestorm when we left.
While crews are gaining ground, they say they're dealing with the perfect recipe for the flames to spread erratically. Low humidity, high temperatures, and high winds. Those gale force winds are whipping up what crews describe as fire tornadoes that are destroying everything in their path.
I saw to the right of me that vortex and that fire moving, and I told my daughter, I said, get home now, let's leave. That one scares me.
Some of our guys lost their homes as well. Probably half of our department was displaced.
And while crews battle the flames on the fire lines, local authorities are dealing with reports of looting in those abandoned areas. At least 3,000 firefighters are fighting to control the blaze as the community shows its gratitude.
There is a reason there are so many firefighters working to contain this blaze. When it came through this neighborhood, it was burning hot, it was burning extremely fast, and it was pretty unpredictable as well. Case in point, some houses in this neighborhood were left nearly untouched. Reporting live in Redding, California, I'm Scott McLean.
6:02 right now, and boy, those fires in California, we've been watching them for such a long time. It seems like it's been endless. The damage that's been done, just very destructive.
It's so sad to see all of that too.
And what's crazy about these fires, excuse me, is that you can be standing on the street, and I've seen many of these reporters now, where one side of the street virtually untouched, the other side is completely destroyed like this. And that is the crazy thing about these fires, is that it can be so indiscriminate, you know, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, heartbreaking. Depends on where the embers go, depends on the winds, it depends on a lot of factors. I believe the Nevada Air National Guard is being sent over there as well to try and help with not necessarily the Carr fire, but just to help with the firefight in California because it's just so massive.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have room on the map for California for 17 fires. Those are the big ones too that they're trying to fight. And of course, the Carr fire is one of the biggest. The other one is the Ferguson fire in Yosemite, which has created some incredibly bad air quality conditions. 104,000 acres, over 3,300 firefighters, and they're fighting on the ground and from the air. Of course, it is now one of the top 10 biggest and worst fires in California history, and that will continue. 23% containment. Now, last week they were having temperatures in the 1-teens in Redding, still in the triple digits, but not quite as extremely hot. But as you were hearing, that fire creates its own weather and own heat. All right, so we had a flare-up of thunderstorms yesterday, mainly affecting South Valley, the east side. First started in the mountains, and that's where we expect to see the activity first. But isolated thunderstorms can pop up anywhere today. We're still muggy out there. Temperatures are in the 80s, and we have over 40% humidity with dew points in the 60s. So we'll look for that opportunity for thunderstorms kind of widely isolated to scattered today, so they could be in your neighborhood. Be prepared for that. Lightning, gusty winds, heavy downpours, a warm day at 106. 6:05, we get our first look at the 6 a.m. commute with Nate right now. Good morning, Nate.
Good morning, Sherry. Good Tuesday morning to you. Here we are looking at the 95 515 northbound coming up on the old Charleston curve. The headlights, these are the folks who just finished coming around the curve and are headed south towards Boulder Highway. Again, I wanted to point out the overhead signage here, and they can continue to have these newer signs installed, particularly when I-15 is done with Project Neon. But this one talks about, hey, if you're getting off at Charleston, don't forget it's down to one lane westbound from before Lamb over towards the 95 515. Pretty substantial backups. I think most folks are used to that, but something for you to be aware of if you're new to that area. Otherwise, the southbound 15 through the Spaghetti Bowl, you got your normal crowding through there. John, Nia.
Thank you, Nate. On Sunday morning, a man who was minding his business sat at a bus stop when a truck veered off the road and killed him.
It's crashes like that that are motivating some safety advocates to wonder if more measures are needed at these bus stops around the valley. The crash happened at Pecos in Washington, and that's where we have Hector Mejia live this morning with some of these new ideas being considered. Hi, Hector.
Hey there, good morning. From installing bollards to moving around bus stop locations, those are just some ideas. Anyone sitting at this bus stop is less than 4 feet away from the roadway. Just imagine a car flying in your direction. That's what happened here on Sunday. Police say a pickup truck hit and killed a man who was just waiting. The driver, 46-year-old Rigoberto Flores Tovar, is in jail, accused of driving drunk and hitting the bus stop Sunday morning. It's not an RTC-owned bus stop, but there are plans to change it. It's on the list to request for right-of-way. Advocates say although the driver is ultimately the one responsible, maybe some changes could have made a difference.
It's an older bus stop in Las Vegas, and I know that because of its location. It's on a narrower sidewalk, and it has not been moved back. Had the bus shelter been here, the car would have missed it.
RTC says they're in the process of reaching out to the property owner. There are 1,600 bus stops with shelters. RTC has moved back 1,200 of them, and for those who use this bus stop regularly, something does not look right. Markings are still on the ground. There's a damaged power pole from that crash. This bus here is picking up people this morning. Now, this bus stop falls under Commissioner Lawrence Weekly's ward. He talked to us about adding bollards. His idea. We'll talk more about that ahead at 6:30. Reporting live, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
Hector, thank you very much. It is 7 minutes past 6. Another drug maker is joining the effort to stop Nevada from using its drug to execute Scott Dozier.
The maker of fentanyl claims it doesn't want the drug to be used in the lethal injection. This is the second drug company to try and keep Nevada from using its product in an execution. The first effort was successful and delayed Dozier's death. Attorney General Adam Laxalt's office warned that ruling would open the door for more companies to protest. The drug makers say Nevada improperly obtained the drugs for execution. Dozier has repeatedly said he's ready to die.
The case against a special needs teacher charged with felony child abuse has been dismissed. Melody Carter is accused of hitting a student with autism several times with a wooden pointer in May. The strikes were so hard the pointer broke and the child's legs were bruised. Monday, a judge downgraded the charge to disorderly conduct, noting that Carter had completed an anger management class. The child's father tells 8 News Now he finds the decision extremely upsetting.
The school district's supposed to protect our children when they're in their custody. That didn't happen. The criminal justice system is supposed to make sure that criminals get prosecuted. That didn't happen. So they're allowing her to potentially do it to another child, and that's the really scary and upsetting part.
Clark County School District says Carter is still employed with the district and has been assigned to home. Nia?
Today, construction begins on a long-awaited program to bring water to the Apex industrial site in North Las Vegas. A pipeline to the area west of the Speedway is necessary for the construction boom that's expected. Officials say the project will open more than 3,000 acres of land for development, which is expected to bring thousands of jobs to the valley.
Fallen Las Vegas corrections officer Kyle Eng was laid to rest yesterday. The 51-year-old died on duty at the city detention facility July 19th. He was remembered at a service at Canyon Ridge Christian Church with a multi-agency honor guard detail and 21-gun salute. An account has been set up to help Eng's family pay for funeral expenses. And if you would like to donate, we have included the account number in the web version of this story, which you can find on the web at LasVegasNow.com.
A Florida man is retiring from teaching to start a new career.
Next on 8 News Now, what he's doing that'll bring in some more money than he used to make in the classroom.
Plus, the Pinball Hall of Fame will soon be getting a new home, where it's setting up shop in the Valley.
And before we go to break, we take a live look at CBS This Morning in the studios in New York City, where Gail and Anthony and Alex, no Gail, Nora, I knew that. It's 10 past 6. You're watching the Valley's News Leader. They're on after us, and they can do that better than I did.
You're watching the Valley's News Leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swinsk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
13 past 6 on your Tuesday morning. You know, teachers a lot of times have to take second jobs just to try and make ends meet.
But one Florida teacher earns so much, he's walking away from the classroom. 3 years ago, Ed Hennessy started shopping and delivering groceries for the app Shipt. Now he's making more than $100,000 per year, more than double what he did as a teacher. Last month, he officially retired from teaching.
Leaving education is one of the scariest things, and it's very sad.
Hennessy says he works about 50 to 60 hours per week, but loves setting his own schedule and interacting with people in the community.
The Pinball Hall of Fame closing its doors? Well, it's not a bad thing. It's reportedly just moving to a new spot on Las Vegas Boulevard. As Darlene Melendez reports, the owner says he's hoping to attract tourists who want to experience a quirky piece of history.
My dad is a big pinball nerd.
Andrew Kimberlin is 9 years old.
I don't think I'm full nerd, but I am very close.
Playing pinball, patience is his biggest virtue.
I love that it's not just luck, it's also a lot of skill and timing.
Andrew's visiting Las Vegas from Texas. The Pinball Hall of Fame is his first stop.
Oh, I get to see a game from the 1980s and then like a game from like the early 1960s, and there's a wide variety.
Tim Arnold brought the museum to the Valley years ago.
I'm the director of Stuff and Things at the Pinball Hall of Fame.
Soon he'll share the magic with even more kids by moving the Hall of Fame to the Las Vegas Strip in hopes of attracting more tourists.
But unfortunately, paying today's bills and quarters is getting harder and harder every year.
Arnold already purchased the land. It'll be right by the Las Vegas sign. Don't ask him when it'll be done, though. He's leaving the logistics up to the contractors. Beth Kane helps Arnold run the place.
No, I just love this place. There's no place I'd rather be. To hear the pop of a free game or feel the rumble of the machine, you can't get that in a tablet.
Together, they'll make sure the current spot on Tropicana stays open.
We need every quarter that comes in between now and the time the business opens.
Letting more kids, like Andrew, continue to play until the new spot is ready.
This is one of the most awesome places that Vegas has.
Darlene Melendez, 8 News Now.
How cool is that? Well, there's no date yet as to when that new location is going to open. He hopes the new spot will get more business that would allow him to donate more to local charities. How about that?
Yeah.
So the Pinball Hall of Fame moving, and maybe that kid will come along because he was a great spokesperson.
Oh my gosh!
He's at the Pinball Hall Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, and the Nerd Hall of Fame. No. I think I'm almost a nerd.
Almost a nerd. This is one of This is one of Vegas's greatest places.
Absolutely.
And he's an expert at his young age.
Yeah. Talking about the pinball machines from the 80s, man.
Yeah.
Featuring
awesome.
Tim, who is the manager of Stuff and Things.
Yes.
That's probably on his business card.
Absolutely. Stuff and Things. It's very important when you're playing pinball.
Well, I can't wait till it opens. I'm definitely going to stop by.
Yeah. We should have seen it already, really. Trop and Spencer, where it's been located for so long.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We spend so much time at the actual slot machines. These are the kid versions of the slot machines, sort of, and we need to branch out a little bit.
And they take your money a lot more slowly, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
They sure do. We'd all be a lot richer if we went and hung out at that place. All right, let's take a look outside. Beautiful skies this morning, a little eerie looking as leftover clouds from thunderstorms late last night still covering the sun, and we have a lot of humidity out there as well. Warm and muggy, temps in the 80s, and humidity some places like Henderson close to 50%. We'll look for highs again, still a little above normal. Yesterday we were all the way up to 110. Definitely heat, humidity. We've had all of that. Thunderstorms. July has been a crazy busy month, and everybody's been talking about why this has just been so unusual. We either get humid days or we get hot days, but July we've had both, and plenty of them. 106 today. 5:47 was the sunrise, by the way. We did get some storms in the mountains first yesterday, then a flare up in the southwest, and then later last night we saw a good flare up of some storms striking the southeast parts of town and out at Lake Mead last night. Some of those cells were dropping rain at 1 to 2 inches a rate an hour. So that's some pretty heavy rainfall and producing some vivid lightning as well. So whenever we have good lightning shows like this, we usually try to grab one of our cameras, point it in that direction, and you can see as we did this nice time lapse, those lightning strikes. This is looking off to the east, out towards the lake. These started up about 10:30 last night, and then they were gone past, we still were getting some outflow winds around 2-3 a.m., but that's all gone now. We've just got kind of some leftover clouds. You can see the temperatures are going to stay hot. 110 for Palm Springs, 106 for us, even 108 for Barstow today. So the heat is still with us, and so is the humidity today. So look for storms isolated in just about anywhere. You know what? Let me get to that 7-day forecast. After this chance of storms starts first in the mountains, we'll look for them in the valley at 106. And then here's your 7-day forecast. We'll keep storms in the forecast through Thursday, and then the weekend still looks hot but sunnier. 107 for your first weekend of August. Alrighty, here's Nate and a look at the roads.
Checking on the 95-515 northbound heading for the Charleston curve. Freeway traffic itself is okay. We're showing this once again to highlight overhead signage, which the Regional Transportation Commission, the Nevada Department of Transportation, are all wanting to put more of these in because they have some pretty helpful information like this one telling folks, hey, if you're getting off the 95-515 at Charleston, this is what you may be in for, especially if you're headed for there. And further on past the 95-515, single lane only for westbound Charleston between Lamb and past the 95 95 515. Otherwise, you got a lot of company southbound on the I-15 not showing up real well on the map right now, so maybe it's loosened up. Southbound 95 heading for the intersection, that's also crowded as well. John, Nia?
Thank you, Nate. Plans for 3D printed guns will be legally available online tomorrow. Several states are trying to block the release of those designs. Last week, a Texas company got the green light from the government to post 3D printable gun plans online. In at least one state, more than 1,000 people have downloaded the plans. In response, 9 states have created a multi-state lawsuit to block access to those plans. A gun expert we spoke with says any 3D printed gun won't be very reliable and could fall apart after one firing.
When students in South Florida head back to class, they will be greeted by armed guards in nearly every school. It's a response to the deadly school shooting in Parkland, Florida 6 months ago. The first group of armed guards are completing their training right now. All have a background in the military or in law enforcement. Florida law now requires every school has armed school resource officers or guards. Local police are also committing more officers to be on or near campus before or after school.
Time is now 6:20, and coming up on the Valley's News Leader, the Golden Knights want to make sure every kid in Southern Nevada knows hockey.
The new program that it's starting and where you can sign up.
And it's time for today's Facebook contest.
You know where you can register to win? Facebook.
The Vegas Golden Knights are teaming up with the D Hotel owner Derek Stevens in an effort to grow hockey in Southern Nevada. The organization unveiled its Little Knights youth hockey program. It focuses on learning to skate, the logistics of the game, and player development.
This is the Little Knights program presented by the D, and we're going to get kids ready, and then they can go into the travel programs and the more structured programs once they complete the Little Knights program.
We're committed to doing this, and you know, they got the best guys in North America putting this program together, so it should be great for Las Vegas.
Stevens is funding the program. For more information, call City National Arena or any of the rinks in town. We're also getting closer to the start of hockey preseason. The Golden Knights' first preseason game is September 16th against the Arizona Coyotes at T-Mobile Arena. The team's home opener for the season is October 4th in Las Vegas against the Philadelphia Flyers.
Speaking of the Golden Knights and speaking of T-Mobile Arena, it's offering a behind-the-scenes tour. You can get a chance to see inside the luxury suites, the high lounge, the video control room, the dressing rooms, which are also the locker rooms, the Vegas Golden Knights Zamboni room. Each tour might include something a little different depending on what event's going on at T-Mobile. Tours are offered Mondays and Thursdays, 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the evening. It costs $25, lasts about an hour.
Well, coming up on the Valley's News Leader, school starts in just 2 weeks, and CCSD is facing another teacher shortage.
Next on 8 News Now, how many positions are open and what the district's doing to try and get more teachers, local teachers, into the classroom on the Valley's News Leader.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Good morning. Now on Good Day, look at that sunrise. We are saying goodbye to July with temperatures in the 1-teens. Sherry has details in her Weather Now forecast.
Plus, the deadly California wildfires have killed 8 people. We hear from fire crews how they think they're handling the fires.
And a new smoking ban goes into effect today. The consequences smokers will face if they're smoking in public housing.
8 News Now, Good Day, the Valley's News Leader, starts right now.
Now, Live, this is 8 News Now. Good day.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Nia Wong, in for Kirsten Joyce.
And I'm John Langler. Thank you for tuning in to Good Day at 6:30. The death toll from the raging wildfires in California, now 8 people. Most of those fires are still far from contained.
One of those fires is now believed to be one of the most destructive in wildfire history.
Laura Podesta has more on the evacuations and the destruction.
Firefighters in California are struggling to make headway against a slew of wildfires. Across the state, there are now 17 major fires that are burning. The largest ones are in the north.
We've had some very large pushes where it's burnt up a lot of acreage extremely fast.
The biggest by far is the Carr Fire. By Monday night, it had scorched more than 100,000 acres in and around the city of Redding. More than a week after it began, it's estimated to be less than 25% contained. The approaching flames forced tens of thousands of people to evacuate the area. On Monday, some of the displaced residents were allowed to go home.
It's just feeling wonderful to be able to come home and be able to sleep in our own bed and knowing that our house is still here.
Over 100 miles to the south, evacuation orders are also in effect. The ranch and river fires began Friday and grew rapidly. Fire officials believe they're getting the upper hand on them.
This portion of the fire is much less active than what we saw 24 hours ago, but that doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet.
The sheer number of wildfires has left fire crews exhausted. Many in California insist the state's fire season now seems to be a year-round event. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Well, every day we continue to get new video, new pictures of the Carr Fire. That one up around Redding. This video was captured from inside the fire lines, and it shows just how quickly the flames are burning up trees and brush and just chewing through homes in that area. This video was taken by the Fairfield firefighters from over the weekend, and you can see that the firefighters just surrounded by the flames at one point. This team in particular was not hurt, thank goodness. Hundreds of firefighters, in fact thousands, currently trying to contain this fire, as well as the dozens of other fires that are burning in California. Within the Carr Fire, reported fire nados. These pictures are from San Jose State University's Fire Weather Research Laboratory. The power and the fury of these fire tornadoes. This tweet says Carr Fire tornado zone, complete devastation. The picture there that you see on the left is a steel pipe that was wrapped around a tree. The other picture on the right shows everything just completely burned and destroyed. It is amazing. And this is what a fire nado looks like. It looks much like a regular thunderstorm tornado, but instead it's a column of air and flames, and it just rises rapidly up in the air and it moves erratically, much like you'd see a regular tornado. And these fires are starting their own weather, causing their own weather and intense heat and the erratic winds. Some of these winds have been clocked at well over 70 miles an hour. Carr Fire now over 104,000 acres. It is one of the top 10 worst fires in California state history. And there are so many, we don't even have room to put them all on the map. It's just crazy how many fires there have been across the West now. Dry, hot conditions, Redding looking for 103 today, while we stay humid and hot down here in the desert Southwest. This is our sunrise right now. The sun obscured by the moisture in the air. Let's go back to I wanted to show you. It's about 44% humidity. 62 is the dew point, and temperatures in the mid 80s this morning. So we definitely are warm and humid, and we'll be on the lookout for more thunderstorms. It was an active day in some areas yesterday, the mountains and to the southeast, and we had thunderstorms last night out towards Lake Mead. We'll look for a chance of storms again today. Still hot at 106. 6:33. Let's get to the road, see how your commute's moving along. Good morning, Nate.
Good morning, Sherry. So far, so good. We're checking a report of a crash in the Spaghetti Bowl, which could really tie things up. But so far, this camera view showing just about every intersection there. This is the South 95 heading for downtown, the North 95 heading through the Spaghetti Bowl, one of the flyover ramps. This is the ramp from South 95 to the South 15. So if there's a crash in there, we'll keep looking for it. Otherwise, the South 15, you do have a lot of company. This is the folks who are getting onto the freeway from that little ramp from the South 95. So far, the northbound ride is good. The southbound ride doing okay. It's just a lot of cars on the roadway. Also slow southbound 95 heading into the Spaghetti Bowl, but no major crashes so far today. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. John, Nia.
Thank you, Nate. On Sunday morning, a man minding his business was sitting at a bus stop when a truck veered off the road and killed him.
It's crashes like that motivating some safety advocates to wonder if more measures are needed at stops around the valley. Hector Mejia is live at Pecos in Washington with more on this. Good morning, Hector.
Good morning. Some of the aftermath from Sunday's crash is still visible. Orange cones, a damaged power pole from the crash. A suspected drunk driver is accused of traveling fast along Washington, going up the curb, down the sidewalk, and killing an innocent man along the way. Police did find the driver, 46-year-old Rigoberto Flores Tovar, and arrested him over the weekend, charging him with DUI. The stop falls under Commissioner Lawrence Weakley's ward. One of his ideas includes installing bollards to protect people at bus stops. He says he knows it would be an expensive project, so he wants to continue working with police to promote safe driving. In this case, Metro says the driver is the person who is ultimately responsible.
You can put all types of laws. You can set that bus stop all the way back as far as you want. If people are going to be irresponsible, we'll probably see more of these unfortunate fatalities.
RTC does not own this bus stop, but there are plans to change it. They're in the process of reaching out to the property owner. It's on the list to request for right-of-way, and another concern is the distance between the bench and the roadway. RTC is actually in the process of moving back some bus stops. Out of 1,600 of them that have shelters, 400 are left to move back. Reporting live, Hector Mejia, 8 News Now.
Hector, thank you. It is now 6:36. A controversial ban takes effect today, prohibiting smokers from lighting up in public housing.
The ban actually comes from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Public housing agencies are mandated to be smoke-free in apartments, common areas, and outdoor areas. If someone violates the rule more than 3 times, they'll be evicted. Those living in such buildings are against the new policy.
We have to stand here and smoke. This is ridiculous. Ain't no trees here to cover the sun. Even I don't know how many old people are really going to make it out here.
This ban isn't just for tobacco products. Same rule goes for smoking marijuana, but we've learned residents are allowed to use e-cigarettes inside their units, just not in public areas. School starts in just 2 weeks, and the school district is once again starting the year with a teacher shortage.
Currently, there are about 540 positions open. That's a little more than the same time last year. In recent years, CCSD says it's hired more than 400 teachers after the first day of school, but the number of open positions fluctuates with people leaving or retiring. Most CCSD teachers come from out of state, but the school district is trying to encourage its own students to follow a career in education.
So we're trying to grow our own here in Clark County, and we've had a lot of success in some of our programs, like at Clark High School, and so we've used some grant money to expand those programs into other high schools this year.
CCSD also uses other recruiting strategies, college fairs, social media, and a campaign called Be a Hero. It uses billboards to inform the public about current openings. Starting salary for a first-year teacher, about $40,000. Nevada Attorney General Adam Laxalt just applied for a new grant. It could help make local schools a little safer. The state of Nevada applied for and got $375,000 in grant funding. It's part of the School Violence Prevention Program. The $25 million program is aimed at looking into new ways to try and make schools safer. Mia?
8 News Now is helping make sure students are prepared for the classroom. We're collecting donations to give to kids from at-risk schools across the valley. For a full list of items needed, just visit our website, lasvegasnow.com. You can drop off your donations at any Smiths or Silver State Credit Union in the valley. The drive runs through Friday. And also, don't forget to tune in August 4th for our Back to School special. We'll be taking a look at the new path forward for CCSD under the leadership of new Superintendent Dr. Jesus Jara. Again, that airs this Saturday from 6:30 to 7.
It is 6:38 on your Tuesday morning. Coming up next, revenge on Shark Week, perhaps? A shark safe back in its aquarium after being stolen.
how they were able to walk away with it with anyone noticing.
And Will Smith plans a big birthday celebration at the Grand Canyon. What he's going to be doing that has even some daredevils a bit skeptical.
And before we go to break, here's a look inside our control room.
Look at those
Say
daredevils.
hello.
Those are daredevils, every single one of them.
We'll be right back.
Of Las Vegas history.
Trending now, those guys look familiar. Former U.S. President Barack Obama, of course, and former Vice President Joe Biden spotted together getting some pastries at a bakery in Washington, D.C., as you do. The bakery supports former veterans. The former president gave a little speech to the workers there, talking about military families and helping them long term. Plus, they crushed that muffin.
Wine released by the band Pearl Jam proved to be very popular online. In fact, the entire stock of nearly 2,000 bottles sold out in just 15 minutes. The limited edition sets from a Washington winery went for $150 for 4 bottles. It benefits a charity that helps tackle homelessness in the band's home city of Seattle.
Also trending, a valuable shark back home after quite the ordeal. Surveillance cameras, as you might be able to see there, it's highlighted. 2 men stole a shark. A 16-inch gray horn shark out of a tank in San Antonio at the aquarium there. They wrapped it in a wet towel, and then they put the shark in a stroller, wheeled it to a car. Employees reported the theft. Police tracked the shark down when they saw that it was posted online. They were trying to sell it for $300.
When we got into the garage and into the house, it looked like almost a mock-up of here. He had a lot of different marine animals in the home. Very much knew what he was doing, kept that animal alive.
How bizarre. How bizarre. The shark valued at $2,000. And despite what it went through, though, the aquarium says the shark is in good condition, ready to eat whatever it wants.
Not to be eaten,
Not to be
but ready
eaten.
to eat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stealing a shark and then putting it in a stroller, That's a bizarre one.
Yes.
Oh, come on. Don't you walk your shark in a baby stroller every day? I do.
I have a Columbo-type question. Everyone remembers Detective Columbo?
Of course.
I just want to ask you a question here.
Yeah, just one more question.
You said there was the towel was wet.
Yeah.
How do we know that? The towel may have been dry and then became wet.
That is true. However, I have read a script where in the script it said it was a wet towel.
I know.
Thus, that is what I'm going with.
But did somebody check? I mean, how does somebody know? Can you tell by the security video that towel's wet?
You know,
excellent question.
It worked to a degree. I mean, they got it from the aquarium to the car.
They would have gotten away with it if the towel was dry.
There were much bigger questions than that, Nate.
It's
in
a
this
shark
story.
napping. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Shark. How do you know the shark was asleep? The shark was napping?
The shark napped.
Okay, let's just get that.
It's been a slow day.
I know.
You couldn't tell.
Hey, speaking of another sighting of former President Obama, did you see him and the former First Lady getting down at the Jay-Z and Beyonce concert on Saturday?
No.
Yeah, they were up in the VIP box.
Well, you're doing a fine recreation.
Well, they were jamming a lot better than me, but it was great because everybody around was like, oh my gosh, look at the Obamas. They're getting down at the concert. It was great. They were in Maryland. All right, let's take a look. Boy, some of those thunderstorms were getting down yesterday. Big lightning off to the east and the southeast, also up over the mountains, the Spring Mountains yesterday afternoon. It feels like upper 80s, and actually temperatures are pretty close to the heat index of what it actually feels like with the high humidity over 40%. It's warm, it's muggy, feels like 90 degrees in Laughlin, 86 in Mesquite. Feels like low 80s in Pahrump this morning. 106 is what we're shooting for. Yesterday we stopped at 110. It was another very hot day. So for our very last day of July, see ya. I'm done. I'm done with July. Really could care less if we don't roll the calendar back and just keep moving forward. Thunderstorms across the deep south along the Gulf Coast, the Ohio Valley, the East Coast. Atlanta's got flood watches posted. For us, no heat warnings, no flood advisories, no severe thunderstorm warnings or watches. We had a kind of a mix of that yesterday when these thunderstorms broke out off to the east side and south and southeast sides of town yesterday. Lots of vivid lightning as well. And so much heat. And of course, for California, they've got so much smoke and heat all the way from the middle of California around Yosemite, where they've got air quality advisories, all the way up to Redding. Redding sun rises, and during the day, this is what their skies look like until the sun sets. And this is their daytime. It's just filled with gray smoke, orange skies against all of that haze and smoke-filled sky. The sun is up, but you can't tell the difference, I think, between the brightness of the sun and the brightness of the flames burning up there. It's just so bad and smoky. We'll look for temperatures 110 plus, Palm Springs along the Colorado River, 106 for us. Look at Barstow at 108 today, and the chance for thunderstorms again for us in the afternoon. 646, we got to check in with Nate, see if there are any problems out there for you. Oh, Nate's on the phone?
Oh, no, we're good.
Oh, you good? Okay.
Yeah, checking on a crash that just came in on one of the dispatch pages. The Spaghetti Bowl had a report of a crash earlier, but it is doing okay. It's crowded in there, but you got the 95 moving in both directions, the ramps to and from the 15 and the 95. But we did have a crash reported at Rancho and Cheyenne. So I was just talking to my buddy Ken up at the Regional Transportation Commission's Fast Camera Operations Center. Said there's a report of a crash at Rancho and Cheyenne. So where he's moving the camera on for us live as we speak on television. So Ken, thank you very much. So far, Cheyenne and Rancho appears to be okay. We'll continue to keep an eye on that one for you. In the meantime, we'll go to the maps, and you got a crowd in the Spaghetti Bowl. And as we showed you on the camera, the lanes are open. It's just folks trying to get to the same place at the same time. John, Nia?
Thank you very much, Nate. It is 6:47. When Apple talks, Wall Street listens. This afternoon, we'll get the latest quarterly earnings report from the tech giant. Apple, of course, is one of the most widely held tech stocks. Wall Street expects the company to report it sold more than 40 million iPhones. In particular, analysts will look at how well Apple's been able to maintain momentum for the $1,000 iPhone 10.
Uber's experiment with self-driving trucks is over. The ride-hailing company is shutting down its autonomous big rig project, once known as Otto. Uber says it will instead focus its research on self-driving cars. A new study is looking at breastfeeding and cognitive development with children.
Coming up next on 8 News Now, good day, what the study claims happens if a mother drinks or smokes too much. Plus,
good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, we're in Northern California where the fast-moving flames are threatening highly populated towns. And actor Alan Alda will be here. He asked to come on our broadcast to make a personal announcement. We'll
You're watching the Valley's news leader with Kirsten Joyce, John Langler, Sherry Swensk, and Nate Tannenbaum. This is 8 News Now. Good day.
It's now time for your 3 top stories before you head out the door this morning.
Today, President Donald Trump's former campaign chairman goes on trial. Paul Manafort faces 18 counts of bank and tax fraud stemming from his Ukrainian political consulting. This is from before he worked with President Donald Trump as a campaign chairman. Manafort has pleaded not guilty. This is also the first trial coming out of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation. President Trump calls that investigation a witch hunt. An Indiana family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit after this month's deadly duck boat accident in Missouri. 17 people died when the boat capsized in a storm, including 9 members of that family. The litigation was filed against Ripley Entertainment. It seeks $100 million in damages.
A new study in pediatrics finds exposing babies to alcohol through breast milk may cause reductions in cognitive abilities. The study of 5,000 babies from Australia shows reasoning test scores are lowest for mothers who drink the most. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends limiting alcohol and refraining from drinking 2 hours or less before breastfeeding.
If she feels any of the effects of the alcohol in her system, she should not breastfeed. She should pump that milk and discard it because it's not safe for the baby.
The study shows smoking while breastfeeding does not change cognitive outcomes, but pediatricians say it's still a good idea to avoid it. Time is now 6:53. Actor Will Smith is celebrating his birthday in true Daredevil fashion.
Yeah, next on Good Day, what he's going to do over the Grand Canyon to celebrate. Summertime, it's Las Vegas. Good morning, it's 6:53.
Yes for less.
Good Tuesday morning. Thunderstorms last night calmed down well before daybreak. Still hazy out there, though, and that's just a lot of moisture in the air. 40 to near 50% humidity and temperatures in the 80s. It's feeling warm, and we'll be on the lookout for thunderstorms again. First popping up over the mountains. That's where we see them almost every day first with all that lift and extra moisture up there in the mountains. So they're ripe for thunderstorms first. 106 for the valley, and we'll be on thunderstorm watch too. Could be in your neighborhood today. We saw them active over to the east and the southeast valley yesterday, but this time it could be North Las Vegas, could be your turn, could be Summerlin, could be Southern Highlands. We'll see where they pop up tomorrow and Thursday. A 20% chance of storms, hot and sunny for your weekend, first weekend of August. Let's get over to Nate and your morning commute.
Getting you out the door before 7. We were talking 24 hours ago, Sherry, about a possible wet afternoon commute yesterday. It's just up to Mom Nature. So far, you've got a dry ride to work on Tuesday and pretty much accident free. All the ramps, all of the lanes through the Spaghetti Bowl open and everybody's moving through. You just got a lot of company. So the southbound I-15 pretty well jammed up back to about Washington, slowing getting off at Rancho from the 95, slow on the 95 from Rancho heading to the Spaghetti Bowl. We'll keep an eye on any possible crashes throughout CBS this morning. John, Nia.
Thank you, Nate. The market's just open, and right now the Dow is up 92 points. Yesterday, the Dow fell 144 points. The Nasdaq dropped 107 points.
Dunkin' Donuts has a special new treat for those with gluten allergies, a gluten-free fudge brownie. It's one of several new items on the on-the-go menu. Snacks on the menu, $2 each. Dunkin' Donuts says it's aiming to provide the best choices for everyone, so they're going gluten-free.
The official Star Trek convention beams into Las Vegas this week.
It runs through tomorrow through Sunday at the Rio Hotel. Special guests include William Shatner, George Takei. Did I say his name wrong?
Yeah, or Takei, either way.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
From the original show, captains from more recent series will be there as well. Special events, expert panels, everything Star Trek, all available at the Star Trek convention. There's a costume competition on Saturday as well. Tickets are $50 and you can buy them online. Dude abides, man. The rug really tied the room together. The Big Lebowski, marking its 20th anniversary, it's going back in theaters. About 700 of them around the country are going to screen the Coen Brothers comedy classic next Sunday.
Otherwise known as Traffic
No,
Now.
the Big Lebowski's going to handle traffic from now on. Sherry, why don't you shake this one?
All right, Will Smith planning an adventurous stunt for his 50th birthday. He plans to bungee jump from a helicopter over the Grand Canyon. It's going to be streamed live on YouTube, part of YouTube's original new series lineup. And you can watch it live September 25th. Live long and prosper, Will. Do it. Do it, dude.
I can't believe it. Yeah.